Hey there, welcome back. It's currently 3 in the AM, nobody else is home, and we're bored. You know exactly what that means. Yep, we're going to love ourselves. And for us, that means sensual, fluffy, warm and tender Japanese style pancakes. Yep, you might be wondering, well, how exactly do we get here? And how do we go from this to this? Well, after many failed attempts, trial and error, and that's a lot of error by the way, and a little bit of mild frustration, I'm here to teach you so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. And remember, if you mess up, keep trying anyway, because that'll be the only way you'll ever improve. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now first, in order to generate the right amount of fluffiness without overcooking our pancakes, we will need some ring molds. And I don't expect everybody to have some available because I know I definitely don't, and the point of this channel is to learn how to make things with what we have. So we're going to make our own ring molds, and all you need for this is aluminum foil. It's actually stupid easy to make these, and all you need to do is separate off about 30 centimeters of foil, and depending on how many C's of thickness you want in your pancakes, you will need to fold your foil accordingly. Today we're only going for a modest 3 to 4 C's of thickness, so for us that means about a little bit bigger than our thumbnail. Essentially, you just want to fold the foil over itself, making sure to have little wrinkles and creases as possible until there's nothing left to fold. And then we're going to shape our ring molds into, well, rings. I find the easiest method is to place my fingers onto the foil and kind of drag and pull up with my other hand on a flat surface a few times, and then the foil will start to naturally form a curvature. This way it helps you ensure that you don't over wrinkle your molds. Then you're going to just gently coax it into a ring, and you have one of two options. You can staple them shut, but I don't have a stapler, so I'm just going to make sure when I'm folding these I leave a little excess lip of foil so that way I can tuck it underneath itself. I also forgot to mention that you want to make sure before you start folding that the shiny side is facing up. That way when you fold, the less shiny side ends up on the inside of the ring mold. Now, a lot of love goes into making these lovely little guys, which means we need to put a lot of love and care into the steps it takes to make them. First, we will start by separating 2 egg yolks from their whites and respectively 4 whites from their yolks. And no, we're not segregating them, that'd be racist. We're just beautifying them before we reunite them. Take a thoroughly clean large glass bowl, or just any large bowl for that matter, and crack your eggs into your patiently waiting palm. You're then going to gently pass it between your 2 hands like so until the whites make their way through your fingers and into the bowl. You should be left with a lovely separated sunny boy that you will now gently nestle into his own little space, and we'll get back to them later. Make sure your bowl for your eggs whites is clean, and this is essential because if there are any excess oils or residue or any type of debris in the bowl, we won't be able to generate enough fluff in our egg whites. Now, we could use a hand mixer for this next part, but unfortunately not everybody has one, and most people do at least on the other hand have a whisk. So prepare to get your workout in for the day because we're about to beat the living pulverize as we whisk our whites into perfect stiff peaks. No one said that this part would be fun, and you better not give up because the next part is going to suck. And I mean a lot. Your arm is going to feel like a noodle by the time you're done, but as they say, pain is beauty, and that couldn't be more correct in this situation. But at least you gained an additional 5 points in strength, which means now you can level up your kitchen game. To your patiently waiting sunny boys, we'll add a 1/4 cup of fine white sugar and whisk until combined. We will then combine this with a 1/2 cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, adding for a total of 2 additional flavor points. And if you don't have vanilla extract, imitation vanilla works just as well, and besides it's much more cost efficient, so if you have that, then feel free to use that. Next, we're going to take 3 cups of your favorite pancake mix, which I currently do not have any at the moment, so I'll be making my own, and we'll go over how to do this in a future video. And you're going to gently combine this with your egg yolk mixture. Be sure not to over mix it though. Just like muffins, pancakes are a quick bread, which means you want to see clumps in your batter because these will create little pockets of air, which makes your pancakes fluffier and much more delightful to enjoy. Now, before we fold in our egg whites, we actually want this to sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. This allows the glutens in your batter to relax, that way you won't have a tough pancake. And nobody likes tough pancakes. And if you do, you're a psychopath. Don't at me. After letting our batter rest for a little bit, you want to come back and fold gently your egg whites into the batter. That way the two can want to become one again in holy matrimony. Folding allows us not to deflate our batter, so that way we can still have soft, fluffy, and voluptuous pancakes. After all, we did give these guys about 4 C's of thickness, and we don't want to give them a disservice to that. We need to make sure we stay true to their form. Coming back to our ring molds, you want to make sure your pancakes don't stick, which is actually why we didn't use the shiny side of the foil. To aid to this, we're just going to take a little bit of vegetable oil onto our fingers and coat the inside of the rings. You only need a little bit, so don't go crazy. Pancakes shouldn't be oily, nor should any cake for that matter. Don't be a psychopath. Get you a nice sized non-stick skillet, put it on low heat, and make sure you lightly butter it. And then after that, we're going to sacrifice one pancake to the pancake gods, because everybody knows the first pancake never counts. It always sucks. You don't even have to eat it, you can just throw it away, because we're not going to use it in this video. Once the sacrifice has been completed, you're going to then scoop some batter into your ring molds until they're almost full, about 3/4 of the way full. And if you're worried about batter spilling out, don't be too worried. This is only happening because we don't have perfectly level store-bought ring molds, and all you have to do to fix this is just gently press on the edge of your rings until the batter doesn't spill out anymore. Even if it does, it's fine, we can just trim it off later, not a big deal. Let it sit for 10 minutes covered on a low heat, and then make sure you fight the resistance to want to flip it early. I promise you, they're not burning. Don't touch them. Once the 10 minutes is up and you see bubbles on the surface, you're going to want to gently flip them and cook for an additional 5 minutes covered. If you're worried about making more than one at a time, you can also cook them one at a time. I just wouldn't recommend this because you're going to be waiting much longer to eat these, and that's just more torture for you. Separate your cakes from their molds and just be careful as you do this. You don't want to tear them. Treat them with a little bit of respect, for goodness sakes. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. That's right. Look at those lovely little guys right there. Aren't they just gorgeous? All we need to do now is get some butter and some syrup. We can just dig right in, right? No. Hold up. You mean to tell me something as beautimous as this is going to be enjoyed with just syrup? Nah, that ain't happening. This isn't the kind of cake you roll out of your bed at whatever o'clock in the morning and scarf down in 5 minutes. No. These are a beauty. This is the lady you take on a night stroll after a nice dinner in the park. Put some respect on their name. Come on now. Get you some fresh strawberries and cut them up nicely. Hit it with some powdered sugar and some cinnamon if that's your thing even, or maybe even some brown sugar. And then after all that, if you're still feeling just a tiny bit zesty, then you can hit it with the syrup if you absolutely must. But at least now you know that you did her justice. And by the way, don't be like me. Don't eat these alone. You're going to want to enjoy these with some friends. It's less sad that way. And if you don't have any, these will guarantee you some. And even if they only become your friends for the pancakes, at least you're not eating them alone. Remember, after all, we made these so that way we could love ourselves. And of course, these wouldn't be complete without some pictures for the IG. Remember, don't forget to give this a try and post your attempts down below in the comments. Share your creations with the world alongside me. And most importantly, if you like this video, if you really did enjoy it, please don't forget to share it, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.